Them coming. Now, it's on the money, so it must be time for my daily interview series, Money Talks. Now, much of the UK, of course, is suffering from a shortage of labour, with a record 1.3 million vacancies outstanding, according to the Office for National Statistics. But pretty much wherever I went in Northern Ireland, I saw help wanted signs. As the province has tried to upskill over recent decades, its top two universities, Queen's Belfast and the University of Ulster, have played a big role. They boast world-class departments in subjects ranging from business and finance to life and health sciences, cybersecurity, tech and much more. I sat down with Mark Durkin, Dean of the Ulster Business School, with Belfast's historic shipyards in the background, to discuss higher education, skills and the future prosperity of Northern Ireland. Mark, thanks a lot for joining us here in Northern Ireland. It's great to have you on the show. A lot of people say that one of the key attributes of Northern Ireland in attracting inward investment is its people, and in particular, its highly educated people. I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Oh, totally. We're in the business of possibility for those young people. So the talent pipeline that both universities create here is an absolute attractor for the FDI that we're seeing coming into Belfast and Northern Ireland more generally.
What would you say about the state of higher education here in Northern Ireland at the moment? Obviously, the big two universities known around the UK and the world, Queen's and then Ulster University that you're part of. How important are they to the Northern Ireland economy in general?
Oh, they're critically important to the economy. In terms of that talent pipeline and the graduates that we produce, what we at Ulster try and do is make sure those graduates can do as well as think. So it's not just about the cerebral experience of a university experience, it's about can they actually have the skills to add value to the business community. So while we're based in Belfast and we have a new campus just about to open through next year, we're also in Coleraine and we're also in Derry, Londonderry. And I think that regional spread really allows us to speak to the sub-regional economies of those areas, and that adds real value to the business community and society more generally.
Now, both Queen's and Ulster are known for the humanities and so on, a big heritage, but I think both big universities here in Northern Ireland are known in particular now for IT, cybersecurity, tech in general.
Yep. Absolutely. I mean, I suppose the biggest area of investment within Northern Ireland, and Belfast particularly, has been in the whole area of fintech. So in the last couple of years...
It's where financial services meet technology.
Yeah. And I think when you think about what we've all been through in the last 2 years, you've seen a great increase in the level of financial transactions. So the fintech industry is obviously based upon that. Associated with that then, you've RegTech emerging, because we obviously have to have compliance around those financial transactions and the growth in that. So we're seeing those two big hubs really emerge. But also, Liam, advanced manufacturing. Northern Ireland was always known for its manufacturing base. 100 years ago, 2/3 of manufacturing on the island happened in Northern Ireland. That has since flipped, but what we're starting to see now is advanced manufacturing emerge. And that, with city deals and growth deals, we're starting to see investment in that as well. So tremendous potential for the region.
Tell us in particular about Coleraine, the Ulster University campus in Coleraine. It's a very picturesque part of the country, obviously. Giant's Causeway is very nearby, a world-renowned natural attraction. But what is it about the Coleraine campus that you think is particularly interesting?
So each of our campuses have a different emphasis. In Coleraine, it tends to be more science orientated, although the business school which I run has a hospitality and tourism management section there that's actually ranked first in the UK for the quality of what it does. To speak to your point about that outdoor orientation that we have there, the tourism, the hospitality, the artisan food sector, that all plays to the strength that the university and the business school have. So while we're a unitary institution, we're nuanced in terms of those sub-regional economies that we serve in Belfast, Coleraine and in Derry, Londonderry.
Now, when I was a kid looking to go to university, very few of my peers would have considered, with all respect, coming to Northern Ireland. It was the late 80s, the Troubles were in full swing, it was a difficult time. But I now have university-aged children, and many of their friends are talking about coming to the island of Ireland in general, and to Northern Ireland in particular. They're coming to me for advice, not that I'm fit to advise them. But you are attracting quite a lot of students, aren't you, from the UK mainland, if you like, from GB, but also from the rest of the world.
Oh, very, very much, Liam. I was going to actually say that. I mean, it's not just about students from England, Scotland, Wales who are coming to Northern Ireland. It's also the international reputation that the region is getting. And of course, there's world-class, both universities are world-class in terms of what they do, but it's also about the social experience that they have when they come here. It's about the friendliness of the people. It's about the destination campuses, for example, that we would offer across the region. And I think that student experience is very differential here and can add a lot of value. So we are seeing tremendous interest.
We're both old enough, Mark, to remember times when Northern Ireland was different. Yes, of course, there are ongoing issues with the protocol and Brexit, but I think it's fair to say this place has been transformed since the Belfast Good Friday Agreement of 1998. What difference has it made to you personally and the higher education community as a whole?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I did grow up through the Troubles. I remember them very well. I think thinking back to that, it's like a different life in terms of where we are, and it's a completely different environment. The people that I would teach and be in lecture theatres with, when I go in to see the students and I look at their dates of birth, you know, they have no memory, no context of what had gone before. So I think in many ways the slate is wiped clean for those younger people. And what we try and instill, certainly from a business school perspective, is a sense of possibility. I think for many during the Troubles, there was a sense of impossibility and a dependency on the state to help and to guide. What we want to try and do is have those young people empowered to take shape their own destiny and to manage their own futures, and to give them skills, I suppose, and a mental framework to be comfortable with uncertainty, to be comfortable with ambiguity, and to see opportunity in that change that's around us, whether it's Brexit or pandemic, you know, to try and emerge from that without being defined by it.
I've got to ask you this question. You're a leading figure in education here in Northern Ireland. You're the Dean of the Ulster University Business School. It's a very significant position, if I may say so. As somebody with a close affinity to Ireland as a whole myself, I have to ask you, to what extent does it shape Northern Ireland's future, the fact that many people are still educated separately, if you like? Schools tend to be delineated along religious lines. Surely there's always going to be at least some division or some remnant of division, with the best will in the world, while that continues.
I can't disagree with that. I would be very much a supporter of integrated education. When you see the collaboration that happens at university level, for example, and what we're about really at Ulster is inclusivity and modernity. We're not about exclusivity and tradition. So that inclusivity goes to the point you make. It's about all cultures coming together in a university environment, the freedom of speech that comes with that, the freedom to think in new ways, and to learn from other cultures as they join us in that university community is really important. And I think, you know, we would often talk about travel being the best education in ourselves and our families, you know, to go overseas and see new things. What we want to do is try and bring people here so that the community of Northern Ireland can be exposed to those other perspectives. And I think we're making significant progress on that, but it just takes time.
Of course, we have faith schools across the UK. You have Muslim schools, you have Jewish schools, you have Roman Catholic schools, right across the UK. So there's nothing wrong in principle with it. But surely here in Northern Ireland, it would be advantageous and would help to build a real sense of unity if kids from different communities, different religious backgrounds, made a point of going to school together. Is there any chance, and I'm sorry to sound naive by asking it, but is there any chance that may happen at some stage?
I don't think it's a naive question at all. I think it's a good one. I mean, when I was growing up, we used to have in the curriculum something called Education for Mutual Understanding, and it was, to your exact point, it was about understanding the perspectives of the other community. It was about people coming together and learning from each other. I think universities as agents of change in the environments that they sit within, in the place that they're from, have a key role in helping us do that. I think at a school level, integrated education does help with that. But there's a mindset change that I think leaders within Northern Ireland have to recognise that, and it's just really about enabling it as we go forward.
What do you think is the best possible thing that the British government could do now to assist Northern Ireland to help get the entrepreneurial dynamism that we know is here, it's been here for generations, to really make it productive and to turn it into higher living standards, less state subsidy for this important part of the UK?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's a good question. We're 6% of the landmass of the UK. We're 3% of the population, and we're 2% of the GDP. Right, so I think investing in
public spending here is 21% higher per head than the rest of the country.
And the other side of this equation is the public sector employs 27% of the workforce. So we have a disproportionately big public sector. We have a private sector where, if you look at small businesses in Northern Ireland, they employ more than the large companies and the public sector combined. And what I think we really need from government is to release the potential of those smaller businesses. So there's lots of policy interventions, I would argue, in quite a fragmented way, and it's about perhaps trying to bring those together in a more cohesive way to help small businesses. This week alone, I was at 2 events that speak to your point, if you'll permit me. One was a new ambassador circle that Tourism Northern Ireland, Invest Northern Ireland have created that will encourage conferences to come to Northern Ireland to allow people to see what is here. And the other one was an Ulster University Business School and Federation for Small Business report called Back to the Startup, which is all about looking at policy interventions around encouraging startup and growth within our small business community and what we need to help create an ecosystem around that. So government working with educators, working with business in a more integrated way. I think those kind of direct interventions could be really helpful to releasing the potential that you speak to.
It's hardly surprising this economy is dominated by small businesses, right? People from this island, both sides of the border, have travelled around the world and set up businesses literally for generations. Do you see that creative spark among your students as the Dean of the Ulster Business School?
Totally see it every day. Creativity, people talk a lot about innovation, Liam, and innovation is almost a buzzword now as we talk about how things will change, not just here but more widely. For me, innovation is preceded by creativity. You spoke to the creative spark. Without the creative spark, the innovation doesn't come. And without entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial activity to bring the innovation to market, we're not going to be able to create the value that we could. So innovation in and of itself is just one part of the creative, innovative and entrepreneurial process. And that's what we try and teach in the business school. That journey is not just about innovation, it's about creativity to stimulate the innovation and from there to get it sold into the market at value. And that's where we'll get the higher value jobs, that's where we'll get a rise in living standards.
And we've got over 1,100 multinational companies represented here in Northern Ireland, not just in Belfast, but across the country. You're getting more inward investment per head now than Scotland, and Scotland's no slouch when it comes to that. What would you say, finally, Professor Mark Durkin, to international investors who are thinking coming to the UK? Why Northern Ireland?
Northern Ireland because when you come here, you will be struck by the openness of the people, their willingness to do business with you, the environment in which you can do business and the support that's there, and most important of all, the talent pipeline that you will see come into your business. People who can think, but people more importantly who can leverage that thinking into value for you and your business, and that's why you should come.
Professor Mark Durkin, the Dean of Ulster University Business School, thanks a lot for joining us.
Pleasure, Liam, thank you.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.